test. Yes, test, test. We're on? Testing 1, 2. I'm trying to get us on the screen, on my screen here. Okay. There we go. Well, Ruth is here. Hello. Sorry about that, Ruth. Everybody's watching me try to find it on the phone. There we go. We got a couple people on with us. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Good evening. Hello, hello. We have Ruth and someone else on. Ruth and a mystery person. So sign on in if you guys are there. Sorry, you guys, that everybody was watching me mess with my phone trying to pull up the video. Lilia is watching. Well, hello, Lilia. Haven't seen Lilia in a while. So it's good to see and hear from you. We miss you. We miss you, Gina. So hello. How is everybody tonight? Everybody's doing good. I'm getting a phone call from somebody with a 224 area code. You think that's spam? I'm going to let it go. We're in the middle of Bible study, so I got everything just set up, and then the phone rings. Well, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Tell us hi and hello, and let us know how everybody's doing. And we're going to be talking tonight from Matthew chapter 6. I'm going to turn my phone down a little bit. Matthew chapter 6 is where we are talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about money tonight. Does everybody love to talk about money? Does everybody have a lot of money? Should we just pass it around and look at it? And no. Oh, let's pray tonight before we start. I did get a chance to talk to Rick today. Sounded pretty upbeat. They kind of checked in with the heart doctor today, and they're going to get with him again next week to kind of do a scope down the throat. I don't know. I think that's what he said. And they're going to look down at the valves and just get a kind of first-hand look at it and see what they think needs to be done. But he's pretty upbeat, and so we're glad for that he's upbeat and seems to be doing well. And I know Dale took him over to the doctor today. And so just continue to pray for Rick and everybody. But he sounded like he had some energy, and that's good. Yeah, we went from kind of last week with the dire stuff that I heard, and he was home in 2 days. So I don't know. God did a lot there. So we were praising him, and so that was certainly great. Well, let's say a word of prayer, and we'll start tonight, and we'll talk all about all the money we've got. Okay? So that would be good. Heavenly Father, we just thank you tonight for everybody. Thank you for Rick. Thank you for how everything's going there, and we just thank you for just everybody else that's been kind of on the rebound and recovering, Lord. So we thank you for everyone that's able to be here. We thank you for those that are online from all of our different places. So, Lord, just continue to bless us tonight and just continue to speak to us through your word in Matthew. And, God, we just continue to pray safety over our church, over the different things that are going on and being planned, and just safety and health for our members, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen. I'm going to go ahead and quote from a text that Ray sent. They're not here tonight. Charlene's doing fine. He had 3 shots in his lower back for some of the pain, and he said it should show some improvement by Friday or Saturday. So, yeah, he's going to take the day off tonight. So hopefully we'll see them back and hopefully feeling a little better on this coming weekend. So, okay, here's my question for everybody. And I think I'm trying to get it where I can see the comments. And guys at home, give me a second. I saw everybody, and now I can't. So there we go. Rick's watching. My friend Jessica's watching. And is our video working up there? I have a black screen on mine, so I don't know what that means. So if you guys can see clearly at home, let me know. It could just be my phone. But at least, yeah, I can't see anything now. So, you guys have it on yours? YouTube is okay. I've got the comments, but no video. No, I don't know. Now I've got it. Okay. Will Clark's with us. Okay, hello. Ruth, Rick Waller. Okay, hello. So it's good to have everybody with us. Sorry about that for those of you online. We're having some trouble with our equipment. So I'm trying to see. Is that her sister? Daughter? Oh, goodness. It just vanished. Can you pull it up again? It says, from Edna, Linda has tested positive, is on her way to the hospital now to get the infusion. Dawn had that on Monday and seems to have helped. So, okay. Oh, goodness. So more stuff. So Edna, I don't know if we have Edna on tonight, but Edna will certainly be praying there. So, okay, everybody says it's fine and working. So that's good. So just continue to pray. We'll try to keep everybody updated. Our school's doing all right as far as I know. I just kind of go and teach the classes and go home. I don't get into all the other stuff with everything, but I know there's a lot of madness in some of the schools around, it seems like. So just be praying for that with the new mandates and everything. And just what I keep praying is, God, let the cooler heads prevail. We can come up with good and solid solutions if we're all calm, but if we're all going nuts over everything, we're not going to be able. We're just going to make everything worse. So I think our school's been applying that. I don't know. I've kind of stayed out of. Like I said, I just kind of go and teach, and I haven't heard about any situations at our school. But we'll just certainly keep praying for the schools around here. Here's my question for you tonight. And there was actually a book I read, and I don't think I own it anymore. But I always remember the name of the title of the book. I got to scoot back here for a minute. Should a Christian drive a Lamborghini? Feels like I have one in my driveway. Own it. Own and drive. If you can afford it. Yeah, it's always kind of, Beulah says, well, if you're driving a real fancy car, will people think you should be using that money for something else? I can't remember what, it's an old book by Tony Campolo. Do you remember Tony Campolo from the Youth Encounter days, Ellen? He's kind of an interesting character in of himself. Only Tony would write a book with a chapter like that, I think. But I can't remember what his, knowing Tony, he probably said no. But I don't know. But should a Christian drive a Lamborghini? Should a Christian live in a mansion?
I don't think God, it would be judgmental of us to say, well, when you've got that kind of car, you should be helping out their God.
Okay. We don't know who all they've helped. We don't know what all to do. Yeah. Okay. Margie says that God wouldn't, we shouldn't judge each other on that, and probably God doesn't either. I just bring up that point not to cause great controversy or anything, but just to state, money and Christianity, it's an interesting mix, isn't it? Always has been. I think of the story when the rich young ruler went to Jesus and said, "What must I do to follow you?" And what did Jesus say? Give up all you possess and then come and follow me, right? Surely he didn't mean that was just for him, right? That was just, is that for all of us? Everything I own? Give it. It can be kind of a challenging study once you get into Christians. and money. Of course, to reminded, if you're watching on this podcast tonight, if you're living in this country tonight, just a reminder, don't let anybody gripe about how bad it is to live in America or how awful America is. We've got our problems, I understand that, but keep in mind, when you're blessed enough to live here, most likely the poorest person in America would be the richest person in most other countries that we see. If you have a house of any kind, it's better than probably a lot of houses and many people have around the world. If you have this thing called air conditioning, that's probably running in your house right now and has been for some time. You probably have more luxuries than many people all around the world. So do we give up our air conditioning to follow Jesus? What do we do? I don't know. Give up all our riches, Pastor Ed? What are you getting at here? Once again, it's just, it is an interesting thing, isn't it? Now, I'll just come out and say that most studies I've read, and maybe even Tony's, and by the way, this book is a 30-year-old book that I think I've long gotten rid of, but I can't remember the name of the title. Following Jesus Without Embarrassing God. That was the name of the book. But most studies I show, and I think you guys would agree, money by itself is probably neither good nor evil. Money on its own, right? It's our desire for money, what we do with money, how we idolize that money. So when Jesus says, you need to sell your possessions and all you own, there may be some things going on there with that man's heart towards that money. And of course, Ellen, with some insight there, we know some things about the father and mother, and which I'm not going to get into tonight. But there could be some things there with the inheritance and love of money that would provide him to say that. In another verse, Jesus pulled a coin out of the fish and said, what? Give to Caesar what's Caesar's. He never said, get rid of all your money. Tell Caesar, no, we have no money. We're Christians. So, so Jesus acknowledges, I think, in places in the Bible where, money is needed. You need to pay your taxes to. So that's where I kind of say, I don't, they use money in the Bible. They took care of the temple. That cost money. We take care of our churches. We were just talking tonight about making sure it looks nice on the outside. And as much as we love the power company or the landscaping company or the air conditioning company to say, it's so great that you are doing things for Jesus and making a difference in our community. We will give you all your power for free. I've met a lot of nice people that work for the power company. I've never met one that nice. So it's kind of part of what we do. But there are warnings and teachings about money. You find it all over the place in the Bible. Now, I'm not Dave Ramsey. I'm not a money guru. Never really have been. If you were to sit me down and say, I'm going to teach you the ways of the stock market and finance and retirement and escrow funds or whatever, I'm going to start thinking about the Cardinals. That stuff just kind of goes over my head a little bit. And but there's a lot of teaching about money, and here's the first thing that Jesus says. It says, don't store up treasures here on earth, where moths eat them, rust destroys them, and thieves can break in and steal. What my commentary said was, it's kind of a picture of how they would have measured wealth back then. Sometimes in the day today, our day, I'm not a big fashion person, but definitely in the day of Jesus, the types of clothes that you wore, right, were definitely linked to wealth. And many earthly kings and people of those times wanted to have ornate and rich clothes. And Jesus says that should not be your treasure because moths can break in and destroy them. I would imagine that bug problems with your clothes would be a bigger issue in Jesus' day, Palestine, than probably they are in the air-conditioned homes of today. But I think unless you have wool clothes, but I was going to say, even today you can hear some things about moths and clothes and different things. But I think certainly then. Then Jesus says this, where rust destroys them. Most economic things, whenever you're telling a story of Jesus, most of the wealth with people would be related to agriculture, where they would store what? Grain, barns. Do you remember the parable of the rich fool? He stored up all his grain in barns for someday, and then, not to be crass or blunt, but this is the way Jesus told the story, he died. And none of that treasure that impressed so many people that walked by his great big, grain bins, none of that went with him. And so, again, we don't have metal or iron structures for those, but whatever they would store them in, rust eats things away. They had plenty of problems with things eating away at their crop collections. Mice, rodents. So you have, clothes that can be damaged and not last forever. Food riches that obviously could go stale, be eaten away, and not last forever. And does any of your translation have where thieves dig in and steal? I don't know. My commentary referred to that. Mine says break in. Somewhere out there's a translation that says where thieves dig in and steal. It's not like digging up a pirate treasure. It's just, again, most of those homes were made of clay. So if you wanted to break into somebody's home, you just kind of dig through the wall, and so, I think what Jesus is trying to paint a picture of is if this is where you're storing up, and the key word is treasures. I don't think Jesus is saying, don't invest money or don't have nice clothes or don't have nice things. It's just, that can't be what you treasure. Again, it's a hard issue. And being careful because none of those things will last forever. And that kind of led me to one question tonight. When do you know, or when does one know when money is a problem? We all need money to survive. We all need money to operate in this world. But when, especially in the life of a Christian, does it, when would Jesus want to get our attention, do you think? When does money become your God? Margie says when money becomes your God, it's a problem. Okay. If you have money to help someone and refuse to help them, okay. So if I refuse to help the person at Walmart with the sign, am I in trouble? No? I'm just being honest. It's challenging, isn't it? Yeah, there's no easy task. But when somebody you care about, somebody you have access to, when you're not maybe sharing money with your church, when you're not giving money towards, I think that's just it. When you're keeping all the money to yourself and not giving things to church, to things that need help, that can be an issue. When else can money be a problem? When you devote all your time and energy into getting money, and how do I get more money? Okay? Bruce said money becomes a problem when it's your number one priority. When that's just your passion, how much money can I get? How much money can I purchase? How much money? Anything else? When does money become a problem? Okay? It can be the other way around too, can it? If you don't plan your money well enough to where you don't have what you need to cover basic needs and things of your life. If you're buying all this stuff and then you don't have enough money to take care of your family, that can be an issue. We've seen that. I know when we were younger, when you put a lot of things on credit, right? And say, someday, when the money comes in, right, we'll pay it all off. Don't worry. And then I think, what they say, when you buy something on credit, you end up paying 3 times the price after interest or some with some credit cards. I don't think that's an exaggeration. So money can be a problem a lot of different ways. What does Jesus say is by the way, wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. And so he's kind of linking it again. And so again, don't have clothes. It's not don't have nice things, or not even don't have a house, or don't have savings. It's just if that's what your treasure is. Be careful what you treasure, because what you treasure, there your heart will be also. Okay? There your heart will be also. Then he kind of comes up with something that seems kind of out of nowhere, and then he comes back to money again. So when I look at verse 22 and 23, I think Jesus is still thinking about money here. And as I read it, I want you to tell me, what do you think it has to do with it? He says, your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. So your eye is like a lamp. Your whole body can either be filled with light or darkness. And if you think what you have is light, but it's not, that darkness is even more dangerous than what you think. What in the world does any of this eye stuff have to do with money? Because I'm saying, when we get to verse 24, we're going back to don't have 2 masters you can't serve. Now, either Jesus is like me, an attention deficit. He's just going from one place to the other, and I'm going to ruin it. I don't think that he is. Or this verse is in there very strategically. Okay. 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 If your eye sees someone in need and you turn away from that person, okay. Does anybody, and that's certainly a way to look at it, because we are the light of the world, and we want to spread that light. Does anybody collect? The answer to this might be true, but does anybody collect money just to have money? So there's some people that do, but for the main part, why do people like money? Is it the money itself that they like? Yeah. It can build power. It can build prestige. I have more than you do. It can build your ego. I think just at a basic level, because none of us, I don't think, are Jeff Bezos or anything, right? But still, it's pretty easy with our eyes, right? we can see, ooh, I want that. Ooh, I want that. Ooh, I need that. Oh, I really need that. And I think we collect money. Some people collect money just to have money, but I think a lot of people, a lot of us, let's not blame it on Jeff Bezos. Let's blame it on us. We like money because you can get things with that money, right? We can eat out on the town. We can get that nice new car. And so Jesus kind of says, what are you looking at? What are you letting into your sight? Because that can fill your soul. What are you looking to be your light? Ooh, I've got a big house. As I see that house, right, it makes me happy, and it defines who I am, right? And because of my house and my possessions, therefore I'm important, right? Because that's what I see. It's what I want. By the way, how does this relate to our prayer message from just last week and what we pray for? You see where I'm getting at? God, give us this day just give me what we need. Prayer puts us in that attitude, God, what do I really need? When our eyes are looking at His light, what is it that we need? And I'm content with you. But when we use our eyes to possessions, we don't need, it's not give us what we need, it's give me what we want. And sometimes you can fill your eyes with that and then go to, oh, God, I see these riches. God, I want this. God, I want that. God, I need this. Be careful what you let your eyes on, because Jesus says it will either fill your body with light or it will fill your life with darkness. And oh, be careful, because if what you see, oh, that house, though, that lights up my life. That new car, think of all the people I'm going to, you're in more darkness than what you think. That's how easy it happens. That's what the love of money can do. And now do you see why it's so strategically put there? Because where does he go in verse 24? No one can serve two masters, for you will either hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and you'll despise the other. Be careful what you fill your life with, because if it's not my light, you're going to end up hating my light. And you'll want to keep filling your life with stuff. What religion is the most dangerous to Christianity? Not Satanism. It's a tool of Satan. It's not Islam. Not Jehovah's Witness. Yes. Right. Beulah said it's greed. I'll tell you, the religion of consumerism. The world exists for me to consume or purchase it. The world exists for me. All I have to do is acquire it, own it, buy it, live it, flaunt it, right? So if I want stature, if I want importance, if I want progress, I must consume it. Consumerism is the anti-Christian. That's why it's the most dangerous religion, because it puts who at the center? Me, money, and it exists for me. So be careful, because if your life is a consumer, if money has done that much to you, you're going to despise me, because you never know when I'm going to come to you and say, you need to give it all. You need to give just some of it away. You need to have you ever, anybody a J.R.R. Tolkien reader, who legend has it led C.S. Lewis to Christ. maybe I'm the only, maybe some people out there in computer land read The Lord of the Rings, right? Have you ever seen that? And there's a little creature there. The ring is the all-powerful thing, and whoever has the ring, they never want to let it go. And Tolkien very, very cleverly, they end up despising everyone else around them because they have to keep the ring. Very, very interesting Christian allegory. I wonder if this is the verse where Tolkien got it from. Be careful what you let into your life. Be careful that you don't let money create that darkness in your life, because you will end up hating me and everything I stand for. I'd change the words around a little bit. That's exactly what Jesus is saying, though. And sometimes we don't grasp that 100%. I'm not Jesus. If you love money, if you love consuming things, you'll end up hating me. You'll end up despising me, because nobody can serve two masters that are that polar opposite. You can't do it. You cannot do it. So what does he say to do? You cannot both serve God and be enslaved to money. So if you go to, we'll go into some things next week. That's why he says, don't worry into what you eat, drink. Don't worry about things. I will provide. And he says, instead of storing up treasures on earth, where do you store them back in 20? Store up your treasures in heaven. What kind of treasures is he talking about? Yeah. Our relationships, the people. I think this goes back to what you said, Margie. When you see needs and help them, those are the things that don't rust away, eat away. You can have the nicest garment. I mean, sooner or later, everything, you think about this, it's true. Sooner or later, you may not live to see it. Everything, I'm not trying to be morbid or jarring, but everything you own will be in the trash. Every last thing. Ouch. Someday, you may not, I don't have much. When my kids get to my baseball cards, they're going to go toss it, or whatever. My record collection, sell it, I remember our youth pastor showed us a big junkyard when I was in high school. And that's what he said. He said, sooner or later, your prized possession, that's where it's going to end up. They don't. Nothing lasts. Your nicest car, it's bound, its destiny is somebody's junkyard someday. Right? The nicest of cars, the nicest of Lamborghinis. But what are the things that last forever? Our relationships. When we invest in the community, that legacy can last for a long time. When we use our money wisely to help others, to build up a church, to build up, people have probably been investing in this church long before it was built in 1987, right? People have been investing in our state. People have been investing in the world of missions and the International Mission Board long before we've been alive, and it's still going, right? Those are the things that last as we remember the Lottie Moons and the Annie Armstrongs and the legacies that they left. Those are what tend to get passed down and never we're at when we give things, when we invest in God's kingdom, when we see needs. It just kind of shows where our heart is. What you do with money, I think Jesus is saying, shows where your heart really is. And that's where it's the problem. It's not the money. It's where's your heart with money? Are you too greedy with it? Does it bring darkness into your life? Will says, lust of the eye shows human desire. Right? Yeah, so it's just God, and I think about the rich man who gave his servants money. To some, he gave a bunch, right? To some, he gave a little bit. And one dude just got one. What was the point? Yeah. You use what God has given you. Some will have a lot. I don't know why. Some people are good at the 501ks and stuff, and some people walk down the street and just make money. That's not me. Maybe it's not you, but you know that person, don't you? But I also know people that have made a lot of money that invest it so wisely in God's kingdom. Right? It's possible. I know people that have those cars that say, use my car to go to Six Flags or take it to. I've had many parents over the years that, can we take your van to camp? It's yours. And they let teenagers live in their van for a week. Why? Because everything that we've been given in that story, whose was it? I don't care how much money you make, it's not yours. How you made it was because of him. And what's the tough lesson of that story? One day, and what did each servant learn? Two did okay, and one didn't. Yeah. He just buried it in the ground. You wicked, lazy servant. Because Jesus said, once upon a time, there'll be a master. He'll give everyone talents. And one day, the master's coming back. Ding, ding, ding. And what does he want to know? How did you invest what I allowed you to have for my kingdom? How did it multiply? How did it grow? And that's what God's people need to do. It's not my money, it's his. How can I use it to multiply things for him? Instead of, how can I bury it? Because I don't want to lose it. I want to keep more for me. Because that's not fair, because they got a bunch and I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, and oh, by the way, the richest guy did the best. And the poorest guy did the worst, which is opposite of what we think of with money. So again, the point isn't how much you have. It's what do you do with what you have? How do you use what you've been given? And that's what Jesus kind of looks at. And get in the habit to giving things away, sharing things, investing things for his kingdom. God, what does it mean to store up treasures in heaven? And he really means that. And again, why? Is he just some mean guy that wants all our money? There it is. Beulah says he wants what's best for us. I don't want darkness into your life. Because we've got eternity to go. And I want you to know the most of what I have for you, instead of being filled with darkness. So that's what I have. Yep, Jessica remembers the old consumerism. I asked that question in my old church all the time until they got it right. Which religion is the most dangerous? They never failed. Islam, no! There's one more dangerous than that, because there's nobody knocking on my door trying to convert me to Islam. Never happened. I don't think it ever will. But consumerism is there every day, isn't it? That's my point. So that's why I think it's more dangerous, especially right here and right now. So thank you, everybody that joined us online. And so think of a way you can use your money for God's kingdom this week. And God bless you all. We only got a little bit to go. We're going to talk about worry next week. Is anybody worried that nobody's worried about anything, are they? Should we just skip that one and go on? We're not. What, me worry? That was the old cartoon. Wasn't that Mad Magazine? What, me worry? Was it Alfred E. Newman or whatever? Yes, that's me. So we'll spend a lot of time with that. It's one that you know. And it goes right to what he just talked about. Okay. So thanks, guys. We'll see you later online. Thanks, everybody, especially those from Arkansas, Illinois, Springfield, folks again joining us from all over tonight. That's always fun to see the different folks through our camera. So, all right, and thank you, Bruce and Jim, for running that. So, all right, what kind of prayer request?